Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Shilpa Data Insights. In today's session, we are going to talk about JSON. In the previous video, we have talked about what is a data frame, how to read the data frame, what is an RDD, what are the difference between RDD and data frame, and we have also seen how to read the CSV file. In this particular video, we will go ahead and concentrate about JSON. We will go ahead and see what is a JSON data, will explain what is a JSON data and how to read that JSON data in PySpark, and what will happen when there are different number of keys in the file, and how to read a multi-line data, and how to read the nested JSON files. So we will start from the basics, stating what is a JSON data, till how to read a nested JSON file. So all these questions that I have written down here are also a very famous interview questions that you may get in your interviews. So stay tuned till the end. So what is a JSON data? JSON data is called JavaScript Object Notation. It is displayed as a key value pair. So every JSON data will have a key and a value that is associated with that particular key. You can think it of as a dictionary. In dictionary also you have a key value pair. Now let's say you have a table like this with ID, name and department, and how exactly the JSON will look like for this particular table. It will have the ID, which is like a string, and it has the ID, let's say 1 and 2. Okay, and then we have the name, and then we have the department also. So two JSON data will be displayed here with ID, name and department. So as you have seen, every JSON data is inside a curly braces. Now, let's say I have a data with 3 rows, 1, 2 and 3, and only salary is present for the ID 3, and the rest of the data doesn't have a salary. So in this case, you actually have to create a different column called salary, inside which you need to put that data and the rest of the data as null. Here the advantage of JSON comes into picture. So if you have a JSON data, it's a semi-structured data. So you can introduce that particular salary only in ID 3, and the rest of it, you don't need to declare the salary in it. Like in this particular example that you see, that you have a salary at the end. So now let's go ahead and see that in the practicals. So here I will be first reading a simple JSON data set like the one that you see here. So it has your ID, name and department, and 3 JSON data is present. And then we will see how exactly to read multiple lines, how exactly you can read a delimited line as well. So first of all, let's see this particular data set, how we are going to read. Okay, and then we will see if we introduce another column called salary, how we are going to read that data. Then we will see if we have a multi-line data. Let's say this is not split into one line. It has multiple lines. This is one record and it is in one, not in one line, but multiple lines. So how you can read a multi-line data set. Then we will see actually how to read a particular nested JSON data set. So let's begin with this particular data set in which everything is inside one line. This is all one line. This is one line itself in the JSON data set, right? So all the data is present inside one line. So I will first go ahead and attach it with the cluster. Now, this is my file that I'm loading it into my DBFS location. So all the files are loaded into my DBFS location. If you don't know how to import the files into DBFS location, I will pin the link in the I button. You can go ahead and check that out and see how to import your files into DBFS. From where we will go ahead and read the file. So for that, we will be introducing this particular read format. So in the previous session, in the CSV file session, we declared this read.format. And I have explained you how this particular read.format works. It's in the same way we have to read this particular data set with our format called JSON, and I will infer the schema. Basically, it will read the whole data set and get the schema out of it. And the mode is permissive. If in case there is any corrupt data, it is going to go ahead and store that in a specific column called corrupt records. So that is what the permissive mode means. And I will load that particular data inside this particular data frame. This is the path of the data frame. Inside the load argument, you have to provide the path of the data. So let me execute this particular command. Once it is executed, I will show you how exactly that particular data looks like that we have introduced inside the JSON file. So for that, I am using a show command. What show command will do? It will display the first 20 records. Right now, I have only 3 records. So it has actually created a data frame out of that particular JSON. And this is my department ID and name. If you will see what is the schema that it has. So the schema that it has inferred is department is string, ID is long, and name is string. So basically, it's reading the whole data set and it is getting the data type of each column that will be created in the data frame itself. Now, let's say I will go ahead and read this particular data set now. That is line delimited. What does this line delimited means? In this line delimited, I have introduced one more column called salary. I don't have this salary for ID1 and ID2, but I have this salary for ID3. So let's go ahead and read this particular data set and see how exactly we can read it. So this is my df2 I have introduced. The same method I'm using and I will be reading it. Now, if you will see, it has read the data set. It has introduced a new column here called salary, which is long. Now, let's see how the data looks like after displaying it. The HR department is having this name Forest with ID3. This ID3 is having the salary, 20,000. But the ID 1 and 2 doesn't have any salary. So it has pushed that value as a null value because it doesn't know. Null means I don't know. That is what null means. The salary is not known for this particular employee ID 1 and 2. Now, next comes is how we can read a data which is not inside a single line. This particular data is one single line, right? But let's say the data that we are getting is not in a single line like this one. So ID is in one line, name is in one line, department is in one line. So one JSON data here is in different lines. So for that, JSON data provides you a format in which you can provide an option called multi-line. So this is our multi-line. By default, multi-line is false. But if you want to read the multi-line, you have to make it as true. So let me run this multi. Now, let me go ahead and read this data set. See, it has read this data set very well. But if you don't have this multi-line true, then it will throw you an error. So make sure to check out how your data looks like and then provide the options that fits so that you can create a proper data frame without any corrupt records. Now, in the same manner, I will go ahead and load this particular data. That is our multi-line. If you will see, this multi-line means we have one file here, multi-line, one JSON. This is the same JSON file. Only thing is that I have included the salary in it. So let me read this particular file and show you how exactly the data of this one looks like. So if you will see, the salary is included with 20,000 for ID3 and the rest are given as null. Okay. Now, let's say I have a corrupt record. Then I want to remove that record, right? So in this corrupt JSON file, if you will see, I have this corrupt.json. This file doesn't have a bracket. I have removed a curly braces and the list also. So in this actually, I don't have a complete syntax of my JSON, and therefore it will throw me an error. So now let me go ahead and run that option, in which I will go ahead and drop everything which is having the corrupt record. Mode is drop malformed. Means if there is any corrupt record, it's going to drop. In this, the syntax is completely wrong, so it will not be able to recognize any data. So it is going to drop everything. So let me show you how the data looks like. See, there is no data in it. So if, let's say, if I do here display, you will see it much more clear how exactly it looks like. It says okay, and then there is nothing is present. Okay, so the data is actually empty. Or if you do a count on it, it will say there is no records found, right? There are 0 records found, means all the records have been dropped. Now, the next is our sample nested JSON. Here, what I've done is I have taken a JSON file, which is a nested JSON file. So this is my nested JSON file. I will tell you how the nested JSON file looks like. In my first field here, I have a file name, which is orders data. Inside that JSON, the second field is dataset. If you will see, the dataset is a JSON with a list. The first element of this dataset is order ID. Then we have customer ID, order date, and then we have shipment detail. So inside this dataset, we have shipment detail. And inside the shipment detail, we have these options called street, city, state, postal code, country. So this is like a nested data set. So if you want to get the data set, this is the data set. Then you need to come to ship details. Then you need to get the street. Similarly, if you want the product ID, how will you get the product ID? You have to first fetch the data set. From the data set, you need to come inside this order detail. And inside this order detail, you need to come inside your product ID. And let's say if you want total price, then you have to come inside this order detail. Inside that, you need to have total price and whichever element you need. Let's say gross you need, then you have to get it from the total price. So this is how actually the nested JSON looks like. So I have loaded this nested JSON here in my DBFS location. Again, I'm making the mode permissive. I don't want to go ahead and drop any record. I made it as multi-line true because if you will see there, it is in multiple lines. If you put it inside one line, maybe it will not be readable. So here I have written it as a multi-line data. So I will go ahead and load this data as a Spark data frame. So you will see this DF6 has been loaded, and this is my data frame which is having this particular schema. If you will see how is it written, data set is what? It's an array of struct type which is customer ID string. Similarly, this order detail is an array type. Inside this array type, we have product ID and so on. And this total price is again a struct type inside which we have the gross and net and tax. So this is looking very complicated, right? How exactly the flow of the schema is present. So I will do a print schema to see how exactly the schema looks like. So if you will see here, we have the root. Inside the root, we have the data set. So here, if you will see, the first element that we have inside the root is our data set. So inside this data set, we have element. And inside this element, we have our customer ID. This customer ID, order date, and order detail. But inside this data set, we also have a struct type, another element. If you will see here, inside this data set, we have this order detail, right? Inside this order detail, we have these elements. So inside this order detail, we have these elements: product ID, quantity, sequence, and total price. And inside the total price, again, we have gross, net, and tax. So this is how exactly you go ahead and read your data of your schema. If in case you want to declare your schema explicitly, you can do that. Also, you need to use your print schema and your schema and take this basically and explicitly decide and write down your schema with it. I have actually explained you how exactly the schema looks like, what is a struct type, what is a struct field. If you have not watched that video, you can go back and watch that video. I will pin that in the I button as well and in the description box as well, so that you understand how to exactly explicitly declare your schema. If you are liking this video, then hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. So in this video, we have seen a lot of questions that may be asked in the interview, like what is a JSON file, how you can read a JSON file, and if in case there's any extra column, how you can go ahead and accommodate that extra column into your data frame. What will happen to the data if the data is not present? How exactly the corrupt field will look like, and how exactly you can read a nested data set. So this is all for today. I'll conclude this session. I hope you have learned all the concepts that I have explained you today, and please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you have a good day.